We will now call the Oak Creek Plan Commission meeting of January 13th, 2026 to order. Roll call, please.
Bouch here.
Pchinsky here.
Kava Chair.
Guzikowski here.
Oldani here.
Seipert here.
Okay, thank you. Item 3, our minutes going back to November 11th, 2025. And by the way, welcome to 2026. First meeting of the year. So take a few minutes, refresh your memory, and when you feel there's no discussion, errors, omissions, corrections, motion.
Seipert moves to approve the minutes of November 11th, 2025.
Lork seconds.
Roll call beginning with Christine, please.
Christine here. Hannah here.
Oh.
Hannah, aye.
Bouch aye.
Pchinsky, aye.
Lork, aye.
Avich, aye.
Guzikowski, aye.
Oldani abstains.
Seipert, aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item 4 is consideration of a conditional use permit with conditions and restrictions. We'll review a request for a conditional use permit, conditions and restrictions for single-family attached two-story dwellings at Royal Estates condominiums. This is a proposed single-family attached residential development on the properties so listed as per the agenda. Todd.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the property, which is just south of Putes and north of Ryan Road on 27th Street, currently zoned RD1 two-family residential, and so they're here seeking a recommendation from you for Common Council to approve a conditional use to develop two-story single-family attached condominium units. You may recall it's almost 3 years ago now that they were before you getting multiple reviews and approvals for this development. Since that time, it has sat idle, no development has happened. With that time lapsing, now they've had to come back to get the approval again for the condition or approval for a conditional use because two-story attached single-family homes do require a conditional use in that district, in the RD1 district. So no real changes though no changes since 3 years ago. It still stands as a two-story single-family attached condo building, so 10 buildings. 2 of them will have 2 units. 8 of them would have 4 units, so for a total of 36 units on site. With those 36 units, they'll each be a little bit over 2,600 square feet in size. 4 bedrooms, have 2-car garages, even though only 1 is required for enclosed, and also driveways for additional parking as well. Included in the site, they have 2 accessory structures. So in the middle of the courtyard between the buildings, you see that there's a proposed gazebo, which is just a little over 200 square feet. And then they are going to have a deck that will be at the northern edge of the stormwater pond created for this development. And that will be connected to the development with a walking trail that will be for the residents there. The development will also have a 24-foot wide private road accessing out to 27th Street. There'll be no parking allowed on that private road, and also that will require, for that access there, will require WSDOT approval and review before any permits are given. So as you may recall, the site contains some wetlands, and it's heavily wooded, and so there will be a 20-foot wide woodland preservation easement that will be required along the north edge of the property. And this is an effort to, of course, preserve the woodlands there, also act as screening between this development and those people, residents to the north. Also in an effort to protect the wetlands on site, they will be required to have a low decorative fence, just 5 feet off with, separating them from that 5-foot buffer of the wetland. So separating those eastern backyards of those units from encroaching into the wetlands there. It's just kind of a physical reminder that they're there. Also, as I noted, it's quite wooded there. The applicants have submitted a tree preservation and removal plan for staff, and after review, they're going to be meeting all the requirements there for tree preservation. Taking a look at the buildings, which you can see they're quite traditional in architecture with their gabled roofs. Two different options or variations, one where the garage is set ahead of the front of the building, the other where the garage is slightly set back. Building A, building B, you can see on the site plan noted where each of those versions will be within the development. They will be required and are showing that their materials are meeting the code for materials of wood, masonry, fiber cement, stone veneer, etc. So if the applicants may be here for questions. Oh, I'm sorry. I should go over these conditions and restrictions. Just to point out a couple highlights here. So one, they will be limited to those 10 buildings as shown on the site plan and as shown in the, if you saw the conditions and restrictions that were in your packet, there was a Exhibit A, which was the general development plan. So they'll be having to adhere to that and also adhere to the buildings that they're showing as far as their design and architecture and materials used. They'll be will only be allowed those 2 accessory structures, the gazebo and the deck, and also needing to record that easement for the woodland preservation easement. And as I mentioned, required to have that fence along the 5-foot wetland buffer. And then related to parking and access, as I mentioned before, they will need to have a review and approval from the DOT for the access to 27th. And also the parking on the driveways will not be allowed to have it obstructed all the private roadways. So they'll need to maintain the 20-foot wide clear area on all those private roadways for fire and for safety purposes. I've shown you these before if you need me to bring them back up as you're discussing, but this is the review criteria for conditional uses per our code. And now I can say I have a suggested motion for you guys on the screen.
Great. Thank you, Todd. Does the applicant want to make a statement or say anything before I take it to the commission? I don't know if you're with us tonight. Okay. Guess not. We will we'll take it to the commission. Christine, let's start on your end.
I have no questions.
Steve?
I have no issues with this, no questions.
Ashley?
No questions.
Greg?
I'm just confirming that this is the same thing that we already approved. It was just a matter of over the time that lapsed, it now requires this conditional use with conditions and restrictions.
Yeah, so it's the same plan as what was approved back 3 years ago. Again, because at that time it was a PUD that had expired. And then with our current code and intent, or we were interpreting that, it would no longer be a PUD, but rather a conditional use, because it's a 2-story building.
Okay. And then this may be a question that the applicant can answer, but is there an expiration for this? Obviously it's been delayed up to this point. Do you know where they stand? Are they?
Well, I mean, this was prompted because they came in for permits to try to start to
Applicant's coming up.
make changes on the site there.
Okay.
And then we said, well, hold on. Oh, he's here. Are you here?
Hi, Jason Christensen with Nielsen, Madsen and Barber, civil engineers for the developer. Developer is here, can speak and answer any questions you might have as well. First time around, it just came down to they couldn't get a contractor on board when they wanted to go that they were comfortable with moving forward with. So they decided to just kind of put it on hold, let it sit for a little bit. They're kicking the can again. They want to get this going. They do already have some of the contractors lined up. So that's when we found out that the approvals were expired. So we're coming back now.
Okay. Thanks for the background.
Hey, Greg?
Yes.
Chris?
Answers my questions.
Don?
No questions.
Fred?
Do you have basements with these units?
Yes,
There is a basement with the units.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
I have just one more question. I just thought about when you guys talking. For the heavily wooded area, as your civil engineer, have you thought about how, when you laid out those buildings, how you can eliminate as much as a clearing and grubbing of those trees as much as you can?
Yeah, so the development up, towards the west end, it's pretty tight. So everything kind of in that box is going to get removed outside of that woodland preservation easement, which I can say has already been recorded. It was part of the CSM, which was recorded, so that easement exists already there. We will also be supplementing that easement with additional trees and landscaping as well. So,
All right, thank you.
Okay. Greg pretty much got to my questions. So, yeah, just kind of a time lapse. We went over this pretty thoroughly the first time around, I believe. And they're still subject to DOT approval for the entry point.
Yes.
Unless there's any further discussions, questions?
Just one quick
Oh,
item here, I guess,
Ashley?
relating to that. So there was,
Ashley, did I skip you?
no, I just, once we started bringing up historics, I just figured I'd add
okay.
2 cents here that, the development agreement was recorded for this project in 2023, so that was for public water main. Additionally, stormwater maintenance agreement was also recorded, and that was in 24. So from an engineering standpoint, all set with approvals on our end. So just would be looking for pre-construction meeting and erosion control permit from our end.
Thank you, Ashley. There's nothing more. Motion, please.
Seifert moves that the Plan Commission recommends that the Common Council approve a conditional use permit for Royal Estate condominiums with conditions and restrictions for single-family attached 2-story dwelling units at Royal Estates condominiums after a public hearing.
Lorick seconds.
Roll call, beginning with Steve.
Falch, aye.
Shinsky, aye.
Lorick, aye.
David Chai.
Guzekowski, aye. Hold aye.
Seifert, aye.
And I.
Okay. Good luck, gentlemen, and as Ashley said, please get in for a pre-construction meeting and everything that's required. Okay, item 5, review of an amendment to a previously approved preliminary subdivision plat for Millwood Glen, single-family residential subdivision. This will be located at 3521 East Oakwood Road. Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So another one that you're quite familiar with, more recently so though, as this came before Plan Commission for the preliminary plat and was approved in mid-October, October 14th of 2025. And so they have returned to amend that preliminary plat. They're looking to add phasing to the development, and also they're doing a little bit of modification to the lot design. Associated with that phasing, they'll be looking for a recommendation from you to Common Council to approve a certified survey map that would divide the current property into 2. So if you recall, that property is roughly a little bit over 38 acres in size. Contains a significant amount of wetland, which I understand they're still waiting from DNR for their exemption letter on that. There is floodplain, specifically flood fringe on site. It's currently used for agricultural use with open space, mostly on the south end with all the environmental sensitive areas. And as you recall, it was rezoned to RS4 last year. And so this was the preliminary plat that was approved in October. Again, kind of a conservation style residential subdivision that had all single family detached homes, total 44 lots with 3 outlots. The average size for the lot, a little bit over 11,000 square feet. So that range shown there of a little over 9,000 square feet to a little over 16,000 square foot. Overall density, under 2 units per net acre, well below the RS4, which is 5.4 for a maximum density in that district. And so here is their revised or updated, amended plat. Still a conservation style residential, still the 44 lots with single family detached homes, and the density remains the same as previous as far as for an overall project or development. So here showing that amended plat again, red clouds around what they've changed on it. You can see they've added a phasing line to it, which is roughly dissecting it or chopping it between like west and east for phase 1 and phase 2, because now it's their intent to develop this 2 phases, which they intend to record 2 separate final plats. They'll finish phase 1 and then move on to phase 2. Phase 1 would have 21 residential lots with 2 outlots, and then phase 2 would have 23 lots and 1 outlot. They've also shifted over the western stormwater pond a little bit to the east, so moving a little bit further from the property's residents to the west. In doing so, that reduced the depth of multiple lots. So lots 1 through 7 along the west there are a little bit shorter, less depth to it, to make that up and to stay within or pretty dang close to the average lot size that they previously had. They did then increase some of the lots in their depth and size. Lots 8 through 10 and also 22 through 24 were enlarged as well. Again, trying to keep that average lot size consistent. So as I mentioned, they're looking to do the CSM in the short term here. That would divide it into 2 lots for their phasing. Lot 1 to the west and south is just almost 30 acres in size. And to the east, at the northeast corner, it's a 7.5 acre lot, lot 2. And then they'll also be pulling the lot line south a little bit to from the center of the road for right of way. So the lots that they're proposing meet the minimum requirements for the RS4. As you can see, as I overlay the CSM on top of the proposed plat, you can see how the 2 lots follow along the 2 phases of the development. Again, 21 lots on phase 1, 23 on phase 2. I should note too that when they've, in their developing of phase 1, they will be required to have a cul-de-sac, temporary cul-de-sac at the eastern end of that north or that east-west street, until they develop phase 2, where that easement would go, or I'm sorry, that easement and cul-de-sac would go away and create the connection through. I believe the applicant is here as well if you have questions, and otherwise suggested motion on the screen.
Thank you, Todd. Does the applicant want to make a statement or wait on questions?
Hi there. Ben Lane with Viridian Homes. Thank you for your time again this evening. Really don't have a whole lot to add. I think Todd did a really good job covering really the gist of our request tonight. With the shift to the stormwater pond and the addition of the phasing line, which we failed to include with our original preliminary plat, we made strong commitments to the Plan Commission and the City Council on the layout and the lot size conforming with the concept plan we showed with the rezoning. So discussing with staff and working with Todd and Ashley, it was determined that really the best path forward to make sure everybody was on the same page and still supportive with these shifts was to come back to the Plan Commission and eventually City Council with that CSM. So again, happy to answer any more in detail questions, but thank you for your time.
Great, thank you very much. We'll go to commission while you're up here. Brad, you want to start us?
I have a question about the Department of, or the state, I should say, for filling the wetlands.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got a permission from them to do that, or are you still waiting for the department
We are still working on that. So the Army Corps of Engineers has determined they're non-jurisdictional from a national perspective. WDNR application, we wanted to get further along with our engineering to make sure that the permits that we were submitting were accurate as it pertains to the actual impacts that we would be making. So those should be going in very shortly after we kind of lock in these tweaks here.
So if you don't get their permission, then how does the development go?
Well, the permission that we are seeking is called a non-federal exemption. The way that legislature is written is that if you meet certain criteria, it's a shall issue permit. We do meet all of the criteria according to our assured delineator, so we're very confident we will get those approvals. However, if they would not, for whatever reason, get held up, we'd be surprised. They are very impactful to the project, and I would see this being a pretty infeasible development at that state.
Thank you.
Yep.
On, you're up.
It's pretty straightforward for me. I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. Chris?
Same, no questions.
Greg?
Just a procedural question. Is it required and normal to divide the lots for phases? Can they phase on one lot?
In the past, they have phased on one lot, so I wouldn't say that this procedurally is what we've encountered before. Actually, maybe we can answer that. I think we didn't. That wasn't the case for the previous one where they didn't do the CSM. You talk about dividing a CSM and then creating those two separate lots versus just doing the phase on the parent lot.
Right.
So,
And maybe that's a question for the applicant. Just what's beneficial to dividing the lots versus just keeping it the same lot it was?
Yeah, that is just, it's a business operation for us. So we have separate affiliated LLC that holds all of our excess land as a development company. So eventually we'll have it's probably Millwood Glen LLC or something like that will be the developer of the project, which will be owned by Viridian. And then we have a separate LLC that holds all of our land holdings in the area until they're ready for development. So it's really just a means and methods for our company.
Okay. That was my only question. Thanks.
Ashley?
No questions.
Steve?
Yeah, do you have an estimation between the two phases, timing-wise, or?
Probably about a year. It really is going to come down to how quickly we can source fill for each phase.
Okay, thank you.
Just one question. When you put back the exhibit, just caught my attention. The other one, there's one more. Yeah, no, go back.
them
to
or the plat?
here, where there is the area, there's like an arrow saying area dedicated to the public. So is this part of your plan to dedicate part of the parcel to the public for sidewalk maybe, or what does that mean?
That is, so right now, the right of way required for the ultimate, I guess the ultimate right of way width for Oakwood Road is not dedicated to the city. So that is generally a requirement of all new subdivisions that you get that trued up with the development.
Right now, you can see that this is the existing parcel line on the north. You can see that it goes all the way to the center line of the existing road.
Mm-hmm.
So with them doing a CSM here, or they would have through the subdivision plat, moving that to be in line with the rest of the right of way.
Okay, so have you considered like doing some aesthetic and adding to the outside of the Oakwood, maybe connecting on the outside between all the residential areas, or you just working on the inside?
What do you mean by aesthetic?
Like adding like trees to offset from like the trees you're removing, the fill.
Yeah, I would say we definitely anticipating having an entry feature of some sort, but we haven't really gotten into that full design in detail yet.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I've seen this a couple times before. This is quite common to phase out. The two that popped to mind is Glen Crossing as well, and going back a ways, but Willow Heights as well with the temporary cul-de-sac. And then when they had substantial fill in the first phase, they have the rest to do the roads and what they have to do. So, pretty common from that aspect. And I think Fred kind of made the point once again about the DNR issues. So you're going to have to work through that. other than that, the rest will stay in conservatory going to the south. Okay, that's all I got.
Thank you.
Okay,
So I got this page will have the suggested motion for the plat amendment, and then the next is for the CSM.
so items 5 and 6 are really the same thing, but we have to go through a certified survey map on 6, but we're going to take them separately. Todd kind of described both in the same thing when he did 5. But if you have more questions, let's take a motion on, I'm sorry, on 5.
Clark moves to approve an amendment to the previously approved preliminary subdivision plat for Millwood Glen, single-family residential subdivision to be located at 3521 East Oakwood Road with the following conditions. 1, all relevant code requirements remain in effect. 2, that all water and sewer utility connections are coordinated with the Oak Creek Water and Sewer Utility. 3, that all required development and stormwater agreements are coordinated with the engineering department. 4, that a non-federal wetland exemption letter from the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is provided to the engineering and community development departments prior to development and stormwater agreements being presented to the Common Council for approval. 5, that all technical corrections, including but not limited to corrections required for compliance with the municipal code and Wisconsin statutes, are made prior to recording. And 6, that all revisions to the preliminary subdivision plat are submitted electronically to the Department of Community Development prior to submission of permit applications.
Oldani seconds.
Roll call beginning with Ashley.
Chinsky, aye.
Lorick, aye.
Gavich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Oldani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Anna, I.
Vouch aye.
Okay. Now, item 6 is certified survey map. It does make that division at 3521 East Oakwood Road, submitted by Benjamin Lang. Todd, anything to add to that you didn't already?
Nope, fully discussed it.
Good. Okay, then we'll do 6, please.
Oldani moves that the Plan Commission recommends to the Common Council that the certified survey map dividing the property at 3521 East Oakwood Road be approved with the following conditions. That all technical corrections, including but not limited to spelling errors, minor coordinate geometry corrections, and corrections required for compliance with the municipal code and Wisconsin statutes, are made prior to recording.
Vouch second.
Roll call beginning with Greg.
Lorick, aye.
Gavich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Oldani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Anna, I.
Vouch aye.
Chinsky, aye.
Okay. Item 7, consideration of temporary use permit for the Kohler's parking lot for a Wisconsin state-approved motorcycle training site. This is the property at 9725 South 13th Street. Again, this is submitted by Mark McLean, and this is for the House of Harley Davidson, which is an annual for us. Nick?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the applicant is seeking a temporary use permit to allow for a motorcycle operator training site located in the Colders parking lot between the building and I-94. And as you may recall, this has been approved every year since 2018. So the temporary use would run from March 20th to November 3rd of 2026. It would operate every day of the week, but primarily on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, with the remaining days used for fill-in dates and makeup dates. They are proposing a 40-foot cargo container, which you can see on the photo there, and 2 32-square-foot signs. And then the last thing to note is that there are no past complaints with this program since it's been running since 2018. And there is a suggested motion on the screen.
Thank you. Before we go to commission, applicant want to say anything, or are we just going to wait on questions? Okay. Let's get to it. Christine? Steve?
No questions.
Ashley?
No questions.
Greg?
Nothing. Welcome back. No issues.
Chris?
No questions.
Don?
No questions.
Fred?
No questions.
No questions, just a comment. This has been going on for quite a while, and before this, they hold classes elsewhere as well. This is really a benefit to the people of the state of Wisconsin, because motorcycling takes a high amount of skill, and the more training you have, better defensive rider you can be and be alert. I have gone through rider training, and it helps, and never hurts to go through it again. So thank you for what you're doing and trying to keep motorcyclists as well as passenger cars safe. So if there's no further questions, please motion.
York moves to approve the temporary use permit request for the operation of a motorcycle operator training site on the property at 9725 South 13th Street, submitted by Mark McLean, One Headlight Power Sports LLC, doing business as House of Harley Davidson, with the following conditions: that all relevant code requirements remain in effect, that all course activities shall be located within the south portion of the parking lot as per the proposed map, that operations related to the training course be limited to between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Sunday. 4, that there shall be only one cargo container for the temporary storage of the course equipment and materials. The cargo container shall be removed within 7 days of the last training course. 5, that signage for the operation is limited to 2 4x8, 32 square foot each temporary signs on the cargo container. And 6, that the temporary use permit shall be valid between March 20th, 2026 and November 3rd, 2026.
Holdani seconds.
Roll call, beginning with Chris.
Guzekowski, aye.
Holdani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
And I.
Bouch, aye.
Shinsky, aye.
Lorik, aye.
Gavich, aye. Okay, good luck. Thank you very much. Have a safe riding season. We are at item 8. This is consideration of conditional use permit and conditions and restrictions for an indoor health, athletic, and recreation facility at Elite Tumbling Factory, a proposed business to be located at 440 West Bell Court. And this is in Suite 400. Nick?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for an indoor health, athletic, or recreation facility, again located at 440 West Bell Court, Suite 400. The zoning of the parcel is M1 as well as M1 in all of the adjacent parcels. So the proposed business would be relocating their existing business, which is at 442 West Rawson currently, and they currently have 6 locations operating in southeast Wisconsin. So the proposed hours of operation for the business are from 4:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, with special events to be held outside of the normal hours of operation. According to the applicant, the peak hours would be between 5:30 and 7 p.m., and there would be approximately 500 patrons per week. Worth noting that this parcel previously had a conditional use permit that was recommended for approval by Plan Commission in 2017 for the same use type. And then the last thing to note here for the conditional use permit is the parking. So there would be approximately 25 employees. And again, at peak hours, there would be 85 people in the building. Code would require 28 parking spaces. The applicant is seeking a parking adjustment to allow for that to be down to 24 parking spaces. And then the last thing of note is that there is one other existing business on the property in one of the different suites, and the hours overlap for a half hour on weekdays from 4:30 to 5 p.m. And then for the conditions and restrictions, the thing of note here is the hours of operation, which we have from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. That's to accommodate for the normal hours of operation as well as the special events that the applicant told us about. And then the review criteria are here if needed, and the suggested motion is before you.
Thank you, Nick. Applicant, do you want to say a word, or come on up, sir? We'll need your name and address for the record, and then just want to make a statement or whatever.
Okay. Tony Pomdongsi. The address of our current location is 442 West Rawson Avenue, right across from Farm Fleet there. We did come to agreement with the property manager that they are going to be responsible for adding more parking spaces, which they'll go through the necessary process to add more parking spaces around the building, whether it's towards the back and along the side of the building. They'll probably be in touch with you guys in the next couple weeks to get that moving. So we should have an additional, I believe, 10 spaces for parking.
Just going to show my ignorance. Thank you for staying in Oak Creek. How long have you been with us?
I personally have been coaching in Oak Creek with Midwest Twisters before they changed over to Cream City since 2007.
Okay.
And then in 2017, we opened up our first location, Elite Tumbling, in Brookfield. I primarily coach in Oak Creek, so I decided, along with our co-owner, Nick, that I wanted to open up a facility in Oak Creek. So 2019, we opened up Elite Tumbling Factory. We specialize in non-competitive recreational tumbling and acrobatics for dancers, cheerleaders, martial arts, and all types of athletes. Our current space is 6,000 square feet now. We've outgrown it. We're having parking issues, so this relocation is running the same exact business in a larger facility.
And thank you for choosing Oak
Of course,
Creek.
and we have a close partnership with Oak Creek Youth Cheer. I work personally with Oak Creek High School. We work with Young Dance, a lot of local partnerships throughout the city too.
Great to know. Thank you for the education.
Of course, thank you.
Okay, let's go to the commission. Start. Fred, anything?
No questions at this time.
Don?
No questions.
Chris?
No questions.
Greg?
Not really a question. With two dancers in the house, at the high school and at Young, we're familiar with Elite Tumbling. The new location, is the Ninja Warrior course still there? Are you going to be co-located like next to each other, or is that gone now? Okay. Okay.
Sorry, you would have to be on the mic to speak. Sorry.
Existing Ninja program that's there, or
Yeah.
our, okay, so
At the
there's
new
a
facility.
there's an Ultimate Ninja program that's in the adjacent building. We run a similar program, but it's not as large. We don't have the big equipment that they would utilize. Ours is more based off of natural movement, so it kind of compares to tumbling, so running, crawling, jumping. We have boxes, but we don't have like huge rigs for them to swing and jump off of. So
Okay.
similar, but a little bit smaller scale.
They're still there. You're not.
They're still there, yeah. I
Okay.
believe they're still there, yeah.
Okay.
You're in the Meta Air bit.
What's that?
Is Meta Air the engineering firm in your building?
I think they used to be. Yes, that's the space that we're occupying.
Okay.
Yep. And then the neighboring business is the owner of the property itself. QDI is the business that's currently there.
Meta Air moved on.
I believe so, yeah. They're
They rapidly outgrew it.
really, okay. Their stickers and their stuff is still in the building, so that's why we're moving forward to try to take their space.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Dave?
No questions.
No question. Thanks.
Oh, you answered all mine. Thank you. There's no further discussion or questions. Motion.
Oldani moves that the Plan Commission recommends that the Common Council approves a conditional use permit for an indoor health, athletic, and recreation facility at Elite Tumbling Factory, a proposed business to be located at 440 West Bell Court, Suite 400, after a public hearing and subject to conditions and restrictions.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call, beginning with Don.
Oldani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
And I.
Bouchai.
Ibczynski, aye.
Lorick,
David Chai.
Guzekowski, aye.
Okay. We'll move us into adjournment. Our first meeting of 2026 is in the books. Thank you all. Just a few more to go, and then we'll get through 2026 with ease. So thank you all once again. If I didn't say it for last year, appreciate all you do. Most of your Tuesday nights, at least 2 a month, are usually gobbled up here. So we don't see it slowing down in Oak Creek. Thank you very much. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Seifert moves to adjourn the meeting at 6:40.
Oldani seconds.
Roll call, beginning with Fred.
Seifert, aye.
And I.
Bouchai.
Ibczynski, aye.
Lorick, aye.
David Chai.
Guzekowski, aye.
Oldani, aye.
Okay, we stand adjourned. Everybody have a good night. Gentlemen, good luck. Thank you.